Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna be telling you my McDonald's birthday party story. Also, before I start, I just wanted to clear something up about the last video I posted. I don't know how I forgot to mention this, but the reason why I called it a near-death experience, and some people were like, no. I did actually almost die, because when I went to the dentist, they were like, yeah, if you had waited about like 48, I can't remember if it was like 48 or like 24, like it was like a pretty first time. They were like, yeah, you would have died. So that was why it was a near-death experience. I didn't like say that, don't know how I forgot to say that. Also in this video you can see my purple hair a little bit better. It's a little purple. I don't know why I said that, I'm sorry. Anyways, so today I'm going to be telling you the story about my worst shift at McDonald's, the shift that I immediately went and found a new job after, and it is my McDonald's birthday party story. It's not good. Alright, so to preface this story, I have been working at McDonald's for maybe, for I think a week. So I didn't really know anything, didn't really know anyone. Like there was just a lot of like stuff I literally had no idea about. And so I was just like wandering around doing my like usual, I had like a usual list that I would do. Like I would do the tables, then I would sweep, then I would mop, then I would do balloons, then I would change the garbages. And so I was just doing that, and then I was just going to grab something, and this lady came up and she was like, oh, I'm having my daughter's birthday party here tomorrow. I was wondering, are we able to bring in like pizza from Pizza Hut, which was maybe about 45 seconds away, walking, not driving. Driving, it's like maybe a millisecond. She was like, oh yeah, can I just bring like some Pizza Hut pizza? And the manager at the time was like, no, we're not allowed to have any outside food, but like, you're more than welcome to buy food. We also supply a cake for birthday parties. And so anyways, so I didn't really think much of it. I was like, alright, she dealt with it. Then the next day, I was talking to my boss, and I was like, oh, I didn't really like know that McDonald's did like actually like ran birthday parties. Like I thought you could just like take the kids and be like, we're having a birthday at McDonald's. Like I didn't realize it was a whole thing that they like set up and planned. And so I don't know where I was going. So I basically asked my boss, I was like, oh, like how does that work? And he was like, oh, well, when we have a birthday party next, like maybe we'll show you and you can be the host of one. And I'm like, we have one today. He did not know that we had one today. So if I hadn't have been eavesdropping, as the queen of eavesdropping I am, it's not a good talent, but whatever. It's a talent. There wouldn't have been a birthday party ready for this kid. Do you know how sad that must have been? Like nobody knew. Like when I told him, he went and told, he was one of the 2 assistant managers. If you watched my other McDonald's birthday, or not birthday party, my McDonald's story time videos. There's only one. I'm sorry, I don't know how to speak. He went and told the other assistant manager and was like, hey, did you know about this? And she was like, no. And then they pulled out like the birthday party folder, and it was like, oh yeah, it's for like this girl. We're just gonna make up a name for her. Her name is Stephanie, and it's like her 8th birthday party. And they were like, oh crap, we didn't even know about this. And apparently you can have like 2 kinds of birthday parties at McDonald's. There's one where you like get a host, and then one where you just like, you get the playroom like area reserved for you. The one that Stephanie was having was a host one. And they didn't schedule anyone because they didn't know about it. So they were like freaking out. They were like, oh my gosh, like what are we gonna do? They were like, we literally had no idea that this party existed until about 4 seconds beforehand. And so the party was supposed to start at 4. It was like 2, maybe 2:15. So they still had about 2 hours. But the fact that, like, I, as the week-long veteran employee that I was, had to tell them that they had a birthday party going on, that's an issue. That is a huge issue. I literally knew nothing about McDonald's. I still know nothing about McDonald's. If someone was like, hey, what was something you learned from your time at McDonald's that, like, wasn't that customers are rude and that no one has their crap together? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I know nothing from working at McDonald's. And you might say that's because I only worked there for 3 weeks, but I mean, in my first 3 weeks at A&W and Dairy Queen, I learned so much. So much. So don't tell me that, because it's not. Anyways, so they were like freaking out. They were like, oh my gosh, we don't have a host. And then they kind of like looked at me and they were like, are you good with kids? And I was like, yeah, I work with like Girl Guides. Like, I've been doing that for a couple years. Like, I would say I'm good with kids. They were like, okay, you're gonna run the birthday party. They did not ask, they told me. And they didn't say that if I didn't, they were gonna fire me, but they definitely implied it. Like, they said, if you don't do this, it'll sacrifice your job. Something along the lines like that. It's been a while, but anyways. So, they told me that I had to be the host, which, like, if they had shown me, I would have been fine with, but literally all they did, they were like, in the crew room, there's a cabinet, there's a bunch of stuff for, like, the birthday party, and so I went into the cabinet and I decorated the little play area room that was where the birthday party was held as best as I could. So I did my best. It looked alright. And then the girls showed up and it was her 8th birthday party. And funny enough, despite them coming in the day before and asking if they could bring pizza and we said no, they brought pizza anyway. But I was like, you know what? You have an inexperienced host who has no idea what she's doing. I ain't gonna say one word. So I just didn't. So basically, all they said was like, okay, well, just play some games with the kids, let them go play around in the play place, and then, like, you're done. It was only a 2-hour long, like, party. But I already worked 8 hours, so I was going to be working 10 hours, which I had never done before. Now, 10 hours. Piece of cake. Done it, like, 10 times. Wow, I'm such a pro. But that was the first time I had ever worked 10 hours, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna pass out. So anyways, so I was like, I have no idea what to do, because all they said was to play games, but they didn't say what games to play. I was like trying to think of games that like I've played at Girl Guides, or like I played at birthday parties. I had a couple of games. One was the iconic Don't Let the Balloon Touch the Ground, which they loved. They like relished in that game, and I was like, are you too old for this? Like, they were 8, but I was like, some of them were older, some of them were younger, and it was like kind of cute. They were all like screaming, and like normally as a Girl Guide leader, I'm like, I'm not gonna let these kids scream, but it's like, this is their birthday party, so it's a little bit different, so I let them like scream, and we played with the balloon. I don't remember what other games we did. There were like some coloring pictures, and I was like, I don't really know how they'll feel about this, but they love doing that. Like, they were very nice kids, and I'm sure that they had a good time, but in that moment, I was like, these kids are not having any fun at all. This is terrible. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I genuinely thought I had, like, ruined this girl's birthday party. And so then they were like, okay, it's time to go get dinner. And you would think that them bringing in pizza meant that they were just going to eat pizza, which was what I assumed. And that's why I was like, well, I'm not going to say anything because no one's going to come near here. But, they were like, oh yeah, let's go get dinner. They ordered, and I'm not even kidding you, $200 worth of food. And this was on a Friday, and that Friday, it was so busy. Like, I remember someone called out there, like, you have a, like, $100 order coming in. They were like, we already have 3, like, $100 orders coming in. And everyone was like, well, you have another one, while they were ringing in their order. And I was just, like, standing there, because they told me when I had started, they were like, you do not help. You are dedicated to that birthday party. You work that birthday party, and you do not help. You are doing the birthday party. So people kept looking at me and being like, Sierra, can you like help out on fries? Or Sierra, can you go do this? And I was like, sorry guys, I'm doing my birthday party like you told me to, otherwise I would have gotten fired. Which, looking back now, I wish I would have just been like, fire me. Go for it. Do it. But I also don't, because I feel proud saying that I've never been fired from anywhere, but also like, people get fired, it's fine, it's not that big a deal, it doesn't make you a bad person, it just means that you weren't right for the job. And that's all it is. So anyways, I was like, alright, well, I can't help you guys, I'm doing my birthday party. Sorry, I feel like I'm rambling so much, but it's just genuinely because that day was such a mess. And so I remember I was talking to one of my coworkers, like, while they were ordering food. And she was like, oh, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm running a birthday party. And she was like, do you even know how to do that? And I'm like, absolutely not. Like, I have no idea if there's like a certain protocol or like anything. All I know was they came in, we like colored for a bit, we opened gifts, and then I was like, oh, as you give her your gifts, like, why don't you tell her like your favorite thing about her? Because I thought that would be cute. I think only one of the like 7 kids that were there did that, but you know, it's fine. It saved us about like 2 minutes of the party time. Then we went and we played games, then we went and we got the food, and then they played in the play place, and then I went and found their goodie bags, which I had been asking for their goodie bags since I had found out that I was going to be running the birthday party. I kept asking my assistant manager, I was like, where are the goodie bags? Where can I get the goodie bags? Can I make the goodie bags? And like finally, it was like 5 minutes to 6, sorry, not 8, which was when their party was over. And so I walked up to the only manager that I could find, and I was like, listen, I have been asking for these goodie bags since like 2 o'clock. It is now 6. I have no idea where they are, but they paid for these, so they need their goodie bags. Where do I get them? And she was just like, oh my gosh. Like, she wasn't annoyed at me. She was annoyed that like it had been 4 hours and no one had either like A, told me where they were, B, went and gotten them, C, like did anything about it. So she was just like, oh my gosh. And she like ran downstairs. Keep in mind, it's still crazy busy. Like, they are so behind. Like, it's insane. Like, there were garbages piled up everywhere. People kept like coming up to me and I was like, I'm really sorry, but I'm running a birthday party right now. Like, if you could bring your concern to someone else in my professional manner. And she was just like, oh my gosh. So she quickly like ran me down. They had a basement at the McDonald's I worked at, which is kind of weird to say, but they did. So she like ran me down to the basement. She like showed me where everything was, and she was like, okay, like, you got this, like, I'm sorry, but I have to go. So basically they give you like one of those like cool fancy drawstring bags, and then you got a water bottle, a soccer ball, like a mini soccer ball obviously, and I think like a lunch kit. I honestly don't remember, it's been a while. So I quickly like threw all of those together in like 8 little goodie bags, and then I ran upstairs, ran to the birthday party area, and I was like, alright kids, like, here's your goodie bags, and like, I hope you had fun. But in my head, I was just so brokenhearted, because I was like, oh, like, I just ruined this poor girl's birthday. Like, she's gonna look back on this and be like, this was the worst party ever. And so when I got home, I had dinner with my family, and my Nana could tell that I was upset. And so she got mad at my mom because my mom wouldn't let me quit, which, like, at the time I was like, Mom, just let me quit. Like, it's not going to have anything to do. But I get what she was saying. Like, you need to have a job. Especially, I was 18 at the time. I was 18. I was going to say almost 18. I was 18 at the time, so I did need a job. But, like, I was just so miserable, I remember. It was so bad. But now I'm laughing at it, so it's fine. And I remember I had finished having dinner with my family, and then I walked into my room, and Belle, my little chihuahua, was there, and I just held her, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried. And I don't know if I cried because I hated my job so much, because I ruined this poor little girl's birthday, or like what it was, but that was just like, I broke down, I lost it. And then the day after, I went and I basically like convinced the manager at A&W to give me an interview, and she did, and she hired me on the spot, which I was very proud of, because that was the second time I've been hired on the spot. Technically the third if you count my mom hiring me at her dollar store, but I don't really count that because that's nepotism. She just hired me because I'm her kid. But Dairy Queen I got hired on the spot, and A&W I got hired on the spot, so that was fun. But last little tidbit McDonald's birthday parties are expensive. Like, I kid you not, this woman spent like $400 on this McDonald's birthday party, and that's not even counting she had like a local bakery bake, like she bought cupcakes and stuff from the local bakery, and I've been to that bakery before and it is not cheap. Let me just tell you, she bought pizza from Pizza Hut, she also bought food from McDonald's. But actually, no, that I did count into the price, but like those two things, it's like she probably spent like $500 on this party. And for, you know, having a not qualified host, and literally it was a 2-hour party, like it wasn't that big of a deal. And so it was just so expensive, and I was like, why? Like, no offense to her, because maybe she thought it was cheaper, because like I definitely thought it was cheaper until I was standing there like with them just being like, all right kids, we're gonna go get your dinner now. And they're like, oh, well, while you're here, we might as well just charge you for the whole party. It came out to be like $400. And I was like, what the heck? I thought this would be like maybe $100. Maybe. Like, that was me highballing it. Like, I thought it would probably be like $75, $50. But it was $100. And I was like, oh my goodness gracious, this is crazy. Anyway, so I'm rambling a lot. But that is the story time of the day I almost got fired, the day that sent me over the edge, and basically the day that I quit. I didn't quit that day, but I quit the very next shift I worked. Alright, well, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!